To be in the median or not to be? That is the question for Portland's panhandlers. No matter how much you try to wipe it clean, crumple it up, or throw it away, your image on the web doesn't disappear. The real letdown comes when most of them are reassigned to Portland and grabbing their bag at the jetport, but an actual video game app to download. The upgrades on and around Dean White Court haven't really taken away from that vintage feel. They've simply added color. In just a few hours, history will be made here at Portland City Hall. Portland Pirates goalie coach Mike Menard is in the Cumberland County Jail tonight after soliciting sex from a 13-year-old girl. Clearly, a lot has changed a year after the fatal house explosion here in Yarmouth. Olympic gold medalist Seth Westcott's biggest fears were confirmed this afternoon, given all the dark clouds circling around the Aaron Hernandez situation. Many members of the Portland Boxing Club have crossed paths with the older Zarnaya brother, Tamerlan. The $14 million budget gap at USM could result in the loss of 4 majors and as many as 50 faculty members. The $33 million renovation at the Cumberland County Civic Center is complete, but there's still no pro hockey team. Pretty much everything and anything that you can imagine that could happen in an open forum like this. How about this as a 20th anniversary present for the Sea Dogs? Joined by NASCAR driver Casey Kane. Casey, you were here back in 2007. What was it about Lima Land that brought you back? It's not unusual to see something out of the ordinary in Portland's Arts District, but this really stands out. Just before 10 a.m., people walking in the area noticed the brick facade 5 stories up, pulling away from the building. I was walking up the street and somebody suggested I not walk down the sidewalk because the building's bowing out. Police and firefighters quickly shut down High Street.
They're full-size bricks, so, you know, falling from 40 feet is going to do some damage.
Deputy Chief Robert Wasick says the building's safe.
We don't see any structural damage.
But he's not sure why this happened.
The tentative plan is to get a crane in and take it down brick by brick.
Just a blowout.
The situation brought out all kinds of onlookers and theories as to why the building started to give way.
Who knows what caused it to water to get in on the inside to make it bow out.
While the building's owners have brought in engineers to make sure it's sound, it would be sound advice to find a different way getting to and fro downtown on Monday.
I don't think I'll be going that way to go home. I'll go up further.
In Portland, Csaba Sukosd, News Center.
It's a marriage of my love of motorcycling and a desire to help.
The picture of someone missing waves behind each of their bikes. Kurt Newton from Chain of Ponds hasn't been seen since 1975. Ayla Reynolds of Waterville disappeared in 2011.
The ultimate hope is to find Ayla.
Dozens more who have disappeared in New England were represented during Saturday's event.
Any type of thing we can do to get in touch or to help you guys out.
Oh, thank you.
The faces haven't been forgotten, thanks to Lost and Missing.
Thank you.
An organization dedicated to keeping those cases in the public eye.
For the most part, usually, if they are located safely, the large majority of them are located by the actual public. Somebody makes recognition.
The Ride for the Missing is the first ever attempt by the organization to get bikers to drive the awareness.
I know, it's exciting.
We love to ride, so might as well do some good while we're at it.
In Lewiston, Csaba Sukosd, News Center. If you were running late after the long holiday weekend, you may have caught a break on your commute. Crews with the Maine Department of Transportation began posting increased speed limits along several stretches of highway early Tuesday morning.
The facts is that they're already driving no speed.
DOT Commissioner David Bernhardt says roughly 85% of drivers were already going to speeds they're raising the new limits to.
The most important reason is because it's much safer on any road if the operating speed and the posted speed are closer together.
Commissioner Bernhardt says the increases, which average about 5 miles per hour faster in most places, were made after careful study.
There are some areas that will be unchanged for the same reasons while we're increasing the speed.
Congested urban areas like downtown Portland, Augusta, and Waterville will not see speed increases, but many other roads will. I-295 from the Falmouth Town Line to the tolls in Gardner is now 70 miles per hour. The speed increased from 55 to 60 on I-195 between the Maine Turnpike and Old Orchard Beach, and on the Scarborough connector between I-295 and Route 1. The speed limit on the Turnpike connector in South Portland went up 5 miles per hour to 55. A section of the coastal connector between Brunswick and Bath went from 55 to 60. And Interstate 95 north of Augusta all the way to Bangor is also now 70 miles per hour, save for an 8-mile stretch in Waterville.
With the increased speed, it's going to be more important that you have more distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. Reaction time may be the same, but the distance you travel in that same second and a half it takes you to react, you'll be traveling further.
Colonel Robert Williams, chief of the Maine State Police, says drivers will also have to be extra cautious in poor weather. He says troopers will be out making sure people abide by the new posted limits.
Well, the trooper has discretion on what they start stopping vehicles at. A lot of it depends on the driving conditions, the operator, and what they're doing. So that varies throughout the state and by officer.
So too will the speed limits along Maine's highways. So drivers need to pay attention and not just set it and forget it. In Augusta, Csaba Sukosd, News Center. When it comes to sports, there's no such thing as a fan being too old or too young.
Ever since he was a baby, he started coming to our basketball games.
He's the first 2-year-old I've ever seen that loves to watch basketball.
And he is our #1 fan.
Unfortunately, age also doesn't discriminate when it comes to less cheerful matters.
Everybody was scared. It's horrible news to get, especially when it's someone that's 2 years old.
Little Cody Bean was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, the most common infantile cancer.
He started chemo about a month ago.
It's definitely been tough at times.
Having loved the Lady Vikings since he first laid eyes on them, the Oxford Hills girls gave him a much-needed assist.
That couldn't have been more of a perfect pass.
We felt like as a team, we needed to do something to give back to him.
It started with an expression.
Being strong is kind of the logo and the motto that we've kind of adopted.
Where everyone is carrying a piece of Cody with them.
He's not here in person, but we know that he's in our hearts and that all the girls have him in theirs.
His health may keep him from attending games.
Shoot it.
But that doesn't mean the girls can't bring basketball to him.
Here we go.
Hi, Cody! We won. We did it for you. Feel better soon. We love you. Miss you, bud. See you soon.
We're gonna do whatever we need to do, and we're just gonna get rid of it. We're gonna fight it.
In South Paris, Csaba Sukosd, News Center.